Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame in his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
And with us here also is the king of comments, the magnificent Son X.
Next time, let's get it.
It's X time. Let's get it. Well, X, I'm just curious as to why you've picked up a stay at my house, X.
I just figured I'd drop by.
Drop by.
Yep.
Typical freeloader X is. Anyway, for those of you
Do you have any
who
waters in the refrigerator for me to drink? Any ice cold ones?
Let me tell you something. He never comes over here without stealing at least 2 or 3 waters.
Okay, it's not 2 to 3. It's 1. 1 or 2.
It's at least 2, sometimes 3, and Gatorades. Or now he's even got the warden buying drinks for fiance Y. I don't know.
X. Well, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. This is an all sports podcast that takes place usually every single Sunday between about 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be podcasting today because there will be no show tomorrow. But for today's episode, there's a lot to cover. We wanted to make sure we at least had a chance to get in an episode because, the college football playoffs, the initial round is done. We've had quite a few college games, quite a few, I'd say, large items that have happened that are going to, I think, have big implications going forward, which we'll talk about. We've got some NHL items to talk about, and a little NFL too, Grumpy Old Man, a guy that I was very critical of at the beginning of the year who's been playing extremely well. So we're going to talk a little bit about everything here today. I think probably the best place to start, just because it just happened, Joe Burrow, Grump. I know you're a big Joe Burrow guy. Had a fantastic game again today. He's been great for that Cincinnati Bengals team all year long. Again, that team cannot run the football to save their life, so I kind of think it forces them to throw the ball all the time.
And they can't play defense.
Yeah.
Okay. My pet peeve, how everyone makes these ridiculous hyperbolic statements every single week or every 15 minutes. The greatest thing ever, the most stupendous thing ever. Well, today, Joe Burrow making a real case for NFL MVP. Okay.
Josh Allen, NFL MVP.
But here's my point. If you're not making the playoffs, you're not going to be NFL MVP.
I agree with that.
Now it was Josh Allen, who's been playing over half the year with a broken left hand. And then it's Lamar Jackson. Well, maybe it should be Lamar Jackson.
Lamar's been awful this year.
No, he's not been awful. He's been good.
He's been awful.
But here's my thing.
In football, he's been awful.
Here's my thing. In order to look at MVP, you have to look at the weapons that both of these players have. Josh Allen, let's be honest, has nobody to throw the ball to, whereas Lamar Jackson has, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. Not to mention they also have Derrick Henry, a power back, as well on that team, which make him look really good.
I'm sorry. I don't think much of Lamar Jackson. Never have, never will. I don't need a scat back to masquerade as a quarterback back there in the backfield. I need my quarterback to be able to throw the football. More what it was Joe Burrow was the first quarterback in NFL history to have over 250 yards and 3 touchdowns, 3+ touchdowns in 8 consecutive games. Nobody has done it 7 consecutive games. Joe Burrow has done it 8 in a row. The highest before Joe Burrow was Tom Brady, I think back in 2014, ? But Tom Brady was, usurped by Joe Burrow, Grumpy Old Man.
Yep.
You're big
well.
guy.
He's played extremely well this year. But they're a chuck it all over the place team.
Yep.
He got sacked, I think, 7 or 8 times today.
7 times today.
I didn't understand Denver at the end, throwing the ball where a tie gets them into the playoffs. And instead they're throwing the ball, dropping passes, throwing incomplete passes. It's like, dude, all you needed was a tie to make the playoffs.
Yep.
I didn't understand it. And I think they'll still get in. Are you expecting Cincinnati to win next week?
Yes.
Who does Denver have next week?
The Chiefs.
Oh, and who does Cincinnati have?
I'll pull it up. Give me a sec. Yeah, Denver has the Chiefs last game of the season on Sunday, January the 5th. But here's the thing, though.
You got to think the Chiefs are going to rest guys.
If they're going to be benching everybody.
Yep. You got to think
Yeah.
the Chiefs are going to rest guys. They've already clinched the number 1 spot in the AFC.
And
You get
who
the
did the
first round
Bungles?
bye.
Who did the Bungles?
Bengals. Yeah, the Bengals have the Steelers. So I think that's a routine win for them. The Steelers below. Just like I told you guys at the beginning of the season. Oh, but the Steelers are off to such a great start. Yeah, the Steelers have lost how many games in a row?
So the Steelers are going to make playoffs, though, right? They were not making the playoffs, according to you. I said they were.
They suck.
I said they were making the playoffs.
You know
and
else- you know
they're
what
already in
else
the
was awful?
playoffs.
You want to know what else you thought was awful? Bake Nation. What's Bake
Baker's
Nation
not
going to do?
great. He's played good with. He's played well this year, but I don't think he's great.
Stop. Full halt.
He's not. Come on.
Okay.
Let's be honest about it. I will
He's
say
good.
Joe Burrow has absolutely exceeded my expectations that I had for him. I mean, this year, I really thought this year was a make or break year. Last year was so poor for him.
Who's hurt?
Yeah, he was hurt his first year too. Again, like guys, if you're a quarterback and like, oh, hey, gotcha, I'm hurt multiple years in my first few years, and like that's just it. Right? Like I think we could say after this season, Trevor Lawrence is an absolute bust compared to what he was projected to be or what they anticipated him to be.
It's another team that has no one on it.
But Jacksonville's a dumpster fire. The whole organization. You put him in a good situation, I think he can play. They're bad, man. They're terrible. Their offensive line is hideous. Their defense is disastrous. I mean, again, they're the worst, one of the worst teams in the league. You know who the worst team in the league is?
The
New
Patriots.
England Patriots are the worst team in the league.
God, they suck. I feel bad for Drake May.
They're the worst franchise in the NFL. Gerard Mayo, I don't know how he keeps his job. Captain DEI should not be head coach. No. Sorry.
Well, tonight, just finishing up on Joe Burrow, 39 for 49, 412 passing yards, and 4 total touchdowns. 3 passing, 1 rushing.
What about T. Higgins' numbers today? He was really good too.
Yeah, T. Higgins was great. Okay, he's not as good as Lamar. Lamar Chase, I think, has just been out of this world this year.
His name is Jamar, not Lamar.
Jamar. I'm sorry.
Jamar.
You got me thinking Lamar Jackson. I'm literally looking up videos of Lamar
Yeah,
Jackson.
Jamar Chase has been the number 1 wide receiver again this year.
He's gonna win the best wideout in the game, right?
Okay.
He's the best wideout this season.
Okay. All I said was T. Higgins was really good today. Is all I said.
Not as good.
And you lose your mind. Now, the problem with T. Higgins is he can't manage to stay on the field.
Ugh.
He's a free agent at the end of this year. I know he's leaving there. There's no way because they're
wants to
cheap. Cincinnati's cheap. Don't want to pay anybody.
He's going to get paid. Now, again, I don't think T. Higgins is a number 1 wideout. I think it helps that he has Jamar Chase, who gets the majority of the attention there, right? Like you talk about making the jump from a number 2 spot to number 1. There's a big difference.
Okay. What were T. Higgins' numbers today?
He had good numbers today. Are we looking at the entire season? Or are you just looking at one game?
He's missed, like I said, his biggest issue is staying on the field. That's his biggest issue.
He's got 858 yards receiving this year. Today, he had 131 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns and a fumble.
How many catches?
11 catches for 131 yards.
Okay, that's pretty good. 3 touchdowns, that's pretty good.
Really?
You don't think that's good? 3 touchdowns, 11 catches, 100.
Like 100 yards. I'm like 131 yards. You're acting like, oh man, this is some of the best performance we've seen from him. I don't know.
You don't think that's a good game? 11 catches, 131 yards, and 3 touchdowns?
T. Higgins has never had more than 1,100 receiving yards ever in his NFL career in a
His
season.
problem is can't stay on the field, and he's always been the number 2 there.
He's the number 2 because he's not as good as Jamar Chase. And here's the thing: when you're the number 1,
Chase.
when
All
you're
I
the
said
number 1,
was
you get the
all I
tougher matchup.
all I said was he played really well today.
I'm not celebrating number 2 wide receivers.
Oh my
Sorry.
God!
You could do that. I won't.
Led
Well,
McCon-
who's number 2 on the Rams then? Would you ever celebrate Puka or Cup?
Kupp is number 2 at this point. And Kupp used to be number 1, but at this point, Cooper Kupp is not. He's done. He's done where his prime was. He's just not the same. He'll have a big game every once in a while, but Cooper Kupp is not the same guy.
I think it's because they don't get him the ball enough. If I'm being
He's
100%
finished.
honest,
He's
I still think he has the ability. I don't think they pass him the ball enough.
He's 30-something years old, coming off of an ACL surgery, and he doesn't move as quick.
he was fine earlier in the year. They stopped throwing the ball. X is right.
Not getting open.
No.
No, he's open. They're just not throwing it to him. They're
They
throwing it to
target
the other guy.
Puka and Higbee.
Why do you think they're targeting those guys, Nick?
Because
Because
Cup is,
Puka's a rookie. They
He's
want
not
to
a
keep
rookie.
Cup healthy. He's older.
Cup is commanding double coverage. That's why.
Oh my God. Okay, Cooper Kupp has not had more than he's not had a 100-yard receiving game since November the 17th.
Yeah, he was hurt too. Another guy who was hurt. A lot of guys hurt this year.
I don't know. Again, you look at his
No,
numbers.
I know. I'm telling you.
You look at his numbers. 681 receiving yards this year is not very good. You could just try to build any
How many
narrative you
games?
want.
Yes.
How many games played?
Oh, give me a sec here.
Just so quick to just dismiss somebody.
Including tonight's game, 12 games. 12 games, 681 receiving yards.
Okay,
He's
so
averaging
just
about
681
50 to
yards
60
is not
yards a
including
game.
today. It's not including today's game.
No, that is. He has one reception for 29 yards today. Today, they're playing the Cardinals on
How many
December
targets?
28th.
How many
28th.
targets has he had?
Receptions or targets?
Targets.
God almighty. Give me a sec. I'll pull it up for you, buddy.
Just go to
mean,
fantasy and look it up.
One catch for 29 yards. That's pretty good efficiency.
Yep.
They don't throw the ball to him. They throw the ball to Puka Nacua now.
Yep.
I
If
don't
he
know
went to a
Age
team like
stuff.
the Panthers, he would light it up.
Look at Adam
This year,
Thielen.
he's got 97 targets at least.
I'm talking about today.
Oh, my God.
Just
Oh
pull
my
it up
God,
on
he
the-
doesn't want to do it. Give me
He
1 second.
doesn't want to do it because it proves our point.
I
Give me 1
don't
second,
care
I'll pull
about
it up.
today's numbers. I don't even have it. X, you can pull that up if you want. I'm just
pulling
saying
up on
he's not
fantasy,
the
don't worry.
receiver he used to be. He's
Pull it
done.
up, X.
I got you. Don't
Go ahead.
you worry.
Go ahead. I'm just saying he's not the same receiver he used to be. Simple as that.
Well,
He's not.
that's fair. That's absolutely fair to say that.
Okay. So again, like
He's
I'm not
had
talking
3
about cover
targets today, 1 reception for 29 yards.
Yeah, sorry.
But you
I'm
have
not-
to think about the targets. Is a target considered where, Matt Stafford throws the ball over his head by 17 yards? I mean, that's technically considered a target.
Wow. Islanders score the goal. They score. They make it 5-3, Grumpy. Again, like the targets, I don't care about it. He's just not good. He's finished. I'm not celebrating number 2 wideouts. You guys can keep doing it. I won't. Man.
Tristan Jari
He
is the
sucks.
worst goalie in the league. He's Islanders. He's like Islanders salve. When
Who
they
the
have a
hell is
wound,
67, Ricard Raquel. Look at this.
I mean,
Look how freaking lazy that. My God, Jari.
Isn't-
How did he just literally vacated
he
the net?
went
Look
the
at this.
wrong way. He opens up the short side.
I've never seen anything
Opens
that
up
bad.
the short side. Casey Zeke has 2 goals today. He hadn't scored in 20 games. He
He had
hadn't
one
had a
goal in the
point.
season. He had one
Hadn't had a
goal in the
point
season.
in 20 games.
He doubled his goal total tonight.
He hadn't had a point in 20 games. He scores 2 goals tonight.
Yeah, again, like Pittsburgh will come out in a win tomorrow. But again, like Pittsburgh looked miserable in the third period. They look miserable for stretches. They're not very. I mean, like Pittsburgh. I don't know if they're just too busy.
They're
High.
a
On
shitty team. They're a shitty team, just like the Islanders.
I agree. So anyway, again, like like T. Higgins, he'll have to get paid. He'll go someplace else.
He will
Doesn't
get paid. He absolutely will get paid.
okay. I'm just saying. I wouldn't want to be the team paying him. So.
Why? He's been really good. As long as
681 yards is very good. Gotcha.
how many games has he played? You just dismiss these guys like they and T. Higgins has played really well today.
858 receiving yards this year. T. Higgins he's played 11 games so far this year. And including today's numbers, 11 games, he's got 858 receiving yards.
Okay, so he averages like 80 yards a game.
Yeah.
That's not good enough. That's not good for number 2 wide receivers. You call him. That's not good. Okay, and how many games he been hurt in?
You're gonna be okay. He's gonna get paid like a number 1 wideout. He's gonna be a number 1 wideout on a team. I don't know.
So
Again,
he's good.
helps.
He's good.
It helps him that again he's the number 2 guy and Jamar Chase is getting double covered every play. That helps him. That won't be the case going forward. I'm just saying I don't think much of T. Higgins. He's never had He's never had more than 1,100 receiving yards ever in a season. I'm not booking that up as that's fantastic. Sorry, you could write it however you want. I'm just not getting excited about that.
Well, I just think you're really underestimating him.
Okay, gotcha. And when I'm right in the future, we'll just remember that. I don't think much of him as a receiver. I don't think he gets much separation. I think it benefits him that he's able to go ahead and have easier spots there in the zone coverage. He's able to have easier reads there because he's getting single covered every single game because he's not the best receiver on that team. This I did want to show, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. This was, I mean, you talk about it. God almighty. This is the play that tied the game up to send it to overtime. Or maybe, I think it was just a touchdown here to tie the game up.
Yep.
There's 14 seconds left on 4th and 1. I want to get your opinion on this.
Rumo saying, get over the
Can you show it in slow motion?
Yeah, I'll put it in slow motion for you. Don't worry. Yeah, I'll put it in half speed.
You can put it 7.75. I think it still works. Hey, let's give credit where credit's due. It's a 4th and 1. I don't like the play call necessarily, but you have to go for the end zone with the time. Got to do better defensively if you're Cincinnati, though, right?
The Bengals defense is terrible.
I was about to ask you, who does this say more about, the Bengals defense or Bo Nix?
The Bengals defense, because any other team, that's an interception.
Or it's knocked away, or even a penalty. Even if you take a penalty.
Unless you're the Chicago Bears, it's a pick.
I will tell you this. I think now, was he bobbling that ball? Did they show?
Oh, it was a clean catch. It was
okay.
Their defense is atrocious.
I think that was a good play by Bo Nix getting out of the pocket, just lofting it up. He just put it up in the air, and Mims just came down with it. I don't know how you get beaten double coverage like that, but the Bengals.
Oh, the one guy was late. It really wasn't double coverage. The guy was. I don't know if he was the cornerback. It was just like the safety on. He's like he let a guy go.
They're playing zone, I guess, but it's just still.
Yeah, I don't get it. With that amount of time left, don't you have to play man?
There's a reason you have Joe Burrow on the sidelines cussing, saying what the fuck every time he has to come back out there on the field after his defense gives up a huge bomb or gives up a huge touchdown all the time. He's pissed about it. He's pissed about it.
Defensively, they are absolutely atrocious. I think it says a lot about how bad their defense is. That's why I'm like, I don't know how Zach Taylor still keeps a job. He's awful.
They're cheap.
They don't have any players.
They don't want to pay anyone. So if you're under contract, you're going to be there.
I'm shocked they still have that defensive end. I can't remember what his name is. But he's like the best defensive player that's on their team. Hendrickson, yeah. I'm shocked they still have him.
But they signed him to a deal from New Orleans years ago. That's why he's still there. They paid him.
Now, I'll tell you this. There's been a lot of, to finish up a little NFL talk, there's been a lot of discussion. People are upset about the calls that the Chiefs keep getting. And they did a think about this. They did a compilation of all awful calls that the Chiefs have benefited from.
Oh, Ryan Cook
that.
that Trent Williams said, yeah, have some of that.
I mean, the 49ers have been awful this year, and he got tossed. But they called this, I forgot about that. They called this an incomplete pass. I'm sorry, in roughing the passer instead of a fumble. And again, this was, I think, last week.
When they literally showed Brock Osweiler, who played for the Texans, did the same thing and got called a fumble on it.
I mean, that's a fumble, right?
Yes.
I think so. But again, like, that's roughing the passer. I love that there's the little full start there.
Full start again. He's always full starting. Every single play, full starts.
Not to mention on that same play they called roughing the passer, TJ, there was a blatant hold. There was a blatant hold on that same play.
I'm sorry. This was illegal hands to the face. This is illegal hands to the face, I think, by the D tackle 99. Or no, 55. And he had it underneath, like on the chin. It's just like, I don't know. It's just there's a lot of these that are going on. And now this is.
So it's 4th and goal. And what would you do here?
Well, I think you got to kick the field goal and take the points. But here's Mahomes with the scramble to the outside. He looks fine there. He's getting away from Cooper. But watch the way.
There is no.
Oh, they didn't call a holding call. Wow. Okay, they blew it too. I'm looking back through it. I didn't mean to oof.
No face mask call.
I don't see how anyone can miss a face mask call ever.
Yeah,
ever.
And I think this is the one where the Chiefs beat the Bills. This is
the Bills beat the Chiefs.
Nope, Kansas City ended up winning. Again, I thought the Chiefs won today. Yeah, the Chiefs won
this year.
You sure?
Absolutely not. Bills beat them.
No, that wasn't this year. Yeah, this is when you have assistant coaches calling timeouts.
Which is illegal. That's a penalty.
Don't worry, they also have ball boys calling timeouts as well.
See, those are penalties. Those are unsportsmanlike penalties, and they're not thrown. Which, come on, refs, that's not a judgment call. You're just not allowed to do it.
This is mixed in with a compilation of some older ones too, but it's just like, the pass interference call. This is where it's like they get the rep for being the worst, whatever 15-1 team that there ever was. And I'll be honest with you. I'm just not sure what they're going to do. Do you think they continue to get all the benefit of the calls and the doubts in the playoffs like they did in the regular season?
That's not a penalty if it's the other way. I'm just telling you. That was early in the year. That's not a penalty if it's going the other way.
This was not a penalty. Right?
Game it isn't a penalty.
No, that's absolutely a penalty. Tackle them before the ball got there.
Yeah.
Right? But that
was not called. Yep.
So, oh well.
And this is the first. Let's just you look at every single. Look at how many close games. And this is where I'm like, this is the one where he was a foot out of bounds.
He was out of bounds.
Yes, I know. He's a toe out of bounds.
But now this guy full starts every single. He's already moving. He's moving, but that ball, he's already moving. That's penalty right there. That's penalty.
Can't do that.
How do they miss that over and over and over again?
Yeah. So like again, like I'm just interesting if they're going to continue to get those calls or not. But like in the playoffs, right? I think I've got the Chiefs. The reason I highlighted that, I've got the Chiefs as one of those teams that could lose preemptively and have like a shocking loss. Or you don't think so?
I think they'll ram them through just like they've done the last 3 years, the last 2 years.
The Chiefs know how to win. If the game is close, they're going to win the game.
You think
they know how to win. It's a check. It's a check every month given to the NFLPA.
You think it's more the officials
or the whatever the NFL officiating crew?
You think it's more the officials or the Chiefs?
Officials.
I think the Chiefs know how to win, but they get every single call. Every single call. There's not one call that they don't get. Not one.
Yeah. So again, I think the Chiefs,
and they're late flags. They're late flags too. It's not even okay. We threw the flag. It's like the play's over, and all of a sudden, wham! A flag comes in. Flag comes in out of nowhere. Those are the ones like, come on, refs. The false starts. Are you moving before the ball is snapped? Period. Yes.
Speaking of this, there was a wild piece in The Athletic by Woody Johnson behind the scenes of the Jets' dysfunction. We'll kind of go through this. This is, I guess, the reason why never to think or assume that the Jets can ever do anything. General manager Joe Douglas told the Broncos that Woody Johnson didn't want to make a trade for Jerry Jeudy because his Madden rating was too low. Followed decision-making advice from his teenage son, and the Jerry Jeudy trade wasn't the only time that Johnson cited Madden ratings when evaluating players. For what it's worth, Jeudy was an 81 overall, and Mike Williams, who the Jets signed, was an 87.
Okay.
Okay.
First of all, Jerry Jeudy has been a bust for the most part. Okay. The only time he's really showed anything was going to Cleveland and playing with Jameis Winston. Okay. So that's it. Now, here's the bigger issue. Woody Johnson is how old?
I don't know.
81, 82. He's got kids 17 and 15.
Hold on a second. What do you think about Jerry Jeudy real quick? Opinion. I want to get your opinion on Jerry.
He's a bust. He's been a bust.
Bust. What do you think about Jerry Jeudy, Grumpy?
I think he's been really good since he got to Cleveland. Really good.
Would you like to know that Jerry Jeudy has more single-season receiving yards this year than your boy T. Higgins has ever had?
I'm not surprised. Since when he got to Cleveland, he was putting up like 250 yards a game. I'm not surprised.
All I know is that piece of shit can do anything when he's on my fantasy team.
He finally got to a QB that could throw the football. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just said he couldn't do shit when he was on my fantasy team.
It's true. X did say that.
Grumpy, you're making a point, though.
Yeah, here's the thing. So Woody is like in his 80s, and he's got a 17 and a 15-year-old.
Yep.
So, wow. All right. Well, he married a younger girl because he ain't marrying no 60-year-old, ain't spitting out any kids anytime soon.
I don't think he's married.
I'm sure he's married. But Joe Douglas has been fired as the Jets GM, is he not?
Yes.
Okay. Joe Douglas is never getting another job in the NFL. I'm going to tell you right now. When you want to spit shit like this out about your owner, no one is going to hire you. No one.
Well, I'll put this out. He's not happy, obviously, about how things transpired. But again, would you not agree? You're just like, our head or our owner won't allow us to trade for players or to acquire players based off of their Madden rating. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I think there's a lot. It's a reoccurring trend. It's like ownership that's way too involved with the team that doesn't know enough. When the Jets traded Zach Wilson to the Broncos, Johnson asked the team to trade pick number 256 instead of 257 because Woody wanted to keep the Mr. Irrelevant pick so that the Jets could draft their own Brock Purdy. God almighty. Last year, Woody started to include his sons, Brick and Jack, 17 and 15, in team meetings that they would share social media posts from various Jets content outlets about what was being said about the team. When we're discussing things, Woody would cite something that Brick or Jack read online, and Woody would weigh it equally against the opinion anyone in the department has, said an executive. I answered to a teenager. Joe Douglas told the team official.
Okay. What was the Jets' record with Joe Douglas as GM?
I'll tell you.
Because you know what? If your record is like 9-50, maybe you should weigh what the teenagers are saying because you're not doing your job.
31-67.
31-67, less than 33%. They lose more than one out of every. They lose more than 2 out of every 3 games. Sorry, it's one thing if you're.
We can agree that Joe Douglas wasn't the right GM. We can also agree that what Woody Johnson's doing is absolutely stupid, right?
Okay, maybe. And here's the thing: I don't care. It's the Jets. They're losers.
It's definitely smart to go off of Madden ratings.
Jets do Jets things. Jerry Jeudy has been a nothing player. In the last 5 weeks, he must put up 700-800 yards receiving, right?
Oh, 5 weeks, 800 yards receiving. No, it's been the whole season.
Oh, why don't you pull it up, hot shot? Because you got no problem poo-pooing on T. Higgins, who's way better than Jerry Jeudy. Way better.
Never had as good as numbers. I'll bring it up as soon as we're done with this. Absolutely, we can.
Okay.
Woody also pushed back against John Simpson signing due to his low awareness rating in Madden, but Simpson has a solid season. Okay, can we just take a second just to think about this? When you're getting second guessed as like a GM or like any sort of football mind because the Madden rating, his awareness is low in Madden. Why did we sign this guy? His Madden rating's low. I mean, like at that point, you just have to laugh and say, like, what a shit show this is.
Okay, who knows how much they even took that into account? Who
This is
knows?
what the owner was saying.
Okay, if the GM, no, this is somebody else talking out of school. It's not the owner saying this. It's somebody
This is
else.
what an executive. These are what executives in the Jets office are saying.
Okay,
Here's the thing.
Is the reason why they're all gone.
Okay. Gotcha. You think there's any sort of? Do you think they're just making this up? You think they're just making this up very specific?
I think we should move to comments.
All I'm gonna say on this final thing is if any of these executives made decisions, they could have yesed him to death and just ignored him. Okay.
Lose your job.
Well, if you're agreeing to that and putting your matter, you shouldn't have a job anyway. Because then you should be out of a job, period. There's a reason why Joe Douglas is gone. He's been there forever. And the Jets couldn't win shit.
One last thing here. In 2022, quarterback Mike White played through broken ribs in a game versus Seahawks. White played poorly, and the Jets lost, officially eliminating from playoff contention. After the game, teammates heard Woody Johnson saying, you should throw your helmet. You fucking suck. The comment got White and Woody had to apologize.
Why? I wouldn't apologize. You suck, White. You're backup. You're backup. Sorry.
Dude. Yeah.
Freedom Fighter says, Grumpy, TJ has used the shipping excuse several times before on Why No Gifts.
No, it's the first time. And it's
No,
accurate.
it's not the first time. Has X gotten a Christmas present from you, TJ?
If I had a Christmas present from you, yes.
Has X gotten a Christmas present from you?
Yes, he's got a Christmas present. I sent him a picture of it.
So he doesn't have the present? Why not?
Because
What was the reason? What was the reason?
I was going to pay $70 to ship.
There you go. There you go. Thank you. Shipping excuse. Thank you. There's two shipping.
$70 for shipping it to his
Double shipping excuse for this year. Twice now. You bastard. Okay. Here we go. This is Alex Monroe says, does Rodgers hanging up at the conclusion of the season with rumors of Garrett Wilson leaving, him turning 41? The time is approaching. I don't know if we'll be back to the Jets. I think he will play again. And Garrett Wilson's going nowhere. He's still under contract. He's going nowhere.
I'll be honest. I think Aaron Rodgers is done.
Well, he looked good in one game.
He's done. He got grumpy.
Alex Monroe says, y'all remember when the hip drop tackle rule was introduced to limit injuries? Not one penalty has been called for it in the NFL this season. It happens numerous times every game. It's a tough thing to legislate. It really is.
And they're just giving players quote unquote fines for doing it now. So it's a joke.
All-time stolen base leader Ricky Henderson passes away at 65 years old.
And that was a guy, man. He was like, I don't know what he died from, but he was like in rock solid shape even now. I was surprised when I heard that.
Yeah. Yep. Young guy to die. Here you go, Grubby. Moving along here. NFL Red Zone channel with Scott Hansen is no longer commercial free. Maybe he has to go ahead and squeeze in a few piss breaks.
No, it's the,
Charles
it's
Barkley.
the NFL. So
Yep, it's the
NFL.
no fun league, making
No
it
fun.
no fun.
Charles Barkley. That'd be
Charles, Alex says Charles Barkley thinks the NBA regular season should start on Christmas due to the ratings being down in the regular season. Can't compete with the NFL and NCAA football. Okay. NBA ratings are down, period, ever since they started doing that wokey shit a couple of years ago, and they've never recovered.
It's
And
the
to hear,
product. Not
to hear
good.
LeBron James come out and said, Christmas is our day. Stay away from it, NFL. Okay. NFL does whatever it wants. They should, you know what? Good. Good. What the hell's his name? Goodell should have come out and says, "Hey, LeBron James, go kick rocks." Matter of fact, we're going to put games on every day of the week so no one ever watches an NBA game again.
Yeah, the NBA numbers were much lower compared to the streaming from from the NFL game. I'll pull it up for Christmas Day. Yeah, there was 24. The average viewership on the NFL's Christmas doubleheader was 24.2 million. Average viewership for NBA Christmas games was 5.25 million. Again, Christmas Day was.
I cannot remember the last time I watched an NBA game.
I don't care for the NBA at all.
I watch the finals, but I don't watch regular season. I'll usually watch the finals games.
Completely uninterested in the sport. Again, you go grumpy. Next comment there.
Alex Monroe says Cam One put up 3 touchdowns in the first half today. Then Miami played like ass and lost the lead without him. He's the best player in the country. Colorado getting murdered by BYU.
Did you hear what happened to Cam Ward?
There was some type of fight on the sidelines today.
Oh, no. Cam Ward, he was playing today to try to break the all-time touchdown record for career passing touchdowns.
Okay.
He broke it for the Miami Hurricanes. And in the second half of the game, after he broke the record, he determined to sit out the second half of the game. He played the first half so he could go ahead and get himself the record. And then the second half said, I'm not going to play. And Miami, who had, I don't know how many point lead it was in the first half, wound up losing the game as Cam Ward sat on the sidelines and proceeded not to play at all in the second half.
Okay, whose fault is that?
I'm going to tell you one thing. It's Cam Ward's fault.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's the coach's fault.
You think so?
Absolute. Sorry, you're not playing, bro. You're not playing. You either get your ass out there.
If he kept it to himself and he's like, hey, I'm just going out there to go ahead and break the record. And as soon as he did that, he's like, I'm not throwing anymore. I'm not going out there to play anymore.
I'm sorry. It's a coach. Don't tell me the coach didn't know that.
Yeah.
Don't tell me the coach didn't know it. I don't believe it.
You think the coach knew?
Absolutely did.
Nobody
He's
else.
out there, get the kid his record and then take him out. How many guys don't play in bowl games now? Oklahoma had how many kids sit out?
A lot.
I mean,
A lot.
kids?
You know what's funny?
Okay.
All their starting wide receivers were going into the transfer portal. None of them could play the whole entire season, but they managed to go into the transfer portal.
Okay.
Okay. I'll put it like this. I think it says a lot about Cam Ward. I think that's going to hurt his draft stock.
It's not.
You don't think so?
He's going to go top 2.
You think him
Bust.
determining to be? I mean, I think that's the complete selfish move.
I'm
I
not.
think
I'm not
it's
disagreeing with you.
I think that teams look at that as a glowing red flag. Like,
How is Shador Sanders ranked as going to go first overall as a guy who screams and yells at his teammates and never takes any accountability for his own missteps?
because the Giants are retarded.
Well, I think the Raiders are looking at him
The Raiders had the first overall pick.
right now. They do.
Okay. Well, yes, I already I'm not pre-ordering that jersey. He did go ahead and put. I thought no, the Giants had the first spot, Grub.
Okay, I thought it was Oakland as of
Nope.
last week.
Here it was, right? A close-up look. Shador Sanders custom New York Giants inspired cleats for tonight's game. We all know where we're going. You'll see in the cleats later on this week. Shador Sanders said 3 days ago.
I would never draft him.
I'm
Never.
telling you, it's both of those guys are going to be insane.
I
busts.
think Cam Ward can play. I don't think Shador Sanders can play.
Remember, he plays in the ACC.
Yes,
Would you like to know the ACC?
Where the hell does Shador Sanders play?
he
I
doesn't
don't think
play
either of
the-
them are good. I'm saying I don't think either of them can play. That's what I'm trying to say.
I wouldn't pick either of those quarterbacks. I'm sorry. I mean, like again,
I wait, have my
seeing
team
out-
blow, and then draft the next year. See what
This-
quarterbacks come out next year.
Well, one quarterback is not going into the draft. The kid from Penn State, Alaire.
He ain't that good. I watched.
He
him
is
play.
good. He is good. You're going to eat your fucking words when he comes out next year. He's going to be the first pick in the draft next year. You watch. Mark my words. That kid can play. That kid can absolutely play. He doesn't throw underarm or lollipop throws. He zips that ball in there, and he can move. He can move. He's not a guy who's going to run around. He's more of a pocket passer, but he absolutely has enough mobility to be successful on Sundays. He's going to play. Mark my words.
Gotcha. Now, I want to go ahead and finish up the rest of the Miami topic of conversation. Again, you love Cam Ward. I'll say one thing. Just watch. I mean, like, again, any quarterback should be successful in an offense like this.
In the play here, he's going to get man coverage. Looking deep. Good coverage.
Guys.
He's just standing there. In the play.
I'm sorry. Like, again, like when I see
What
stuff
game
like
is this? What game is this?
this is today's game. This is in the first.
This is not Iowa State. This is not Iowa State. I'm telling you right now, that's not
That's not Iowa
Iowa
State's uniform. But it is, guess what? Another shitty ACC
Well, that's
school
fine.
that
That's
he beat
not
up
Iowa
on.
State, though.
You sure?
That's not today's game. That's not today's game.
No, that's not Iowa State's uniform.
Whatever it is.
They were
Okay.
maroon.
Okay. Don't know what it is. But I'll tell you things. When you have time like that in the pocket, it's the same reason why all these quarterbacks go from like, I'm going from Alabama or I'm going from Georgia and I'm going to the pros. And they're like, wow, why did they suck so much? It's because they've got the best guys out there, the best O-line, the best receivers. All I can do is sit back there in the pocket just like this. And you can't do that in the NFL. I mean, like, again, like the Sanders kid's going to suck. The Ward kid, I don't know. I just think he's really selfish. I think that is so selfish to quit on your team in the second half like that.
What about the fight?
I would rather that was between NC State and ECU.
No, there was a fight on the Miami sidelines today.
I'll pull
with
it up.
punches being thrown between teammates.
Maybe Cam Ward was shit talking. I don't know.
Or maybe he said, I'm not playing anymore. And the other kids on the team said, what the hell do you mean you're not playing anymore? Maybe that's what started. I don't know.
I'll pull it up there. Yeah, there were players fighting on the sidelines.
That's never a good thing.
Yeah. Oof.
And who's that a reflection on?
That's the coach.
Head coach. Head
Yeah.
coach. Got to go. No discipline.
In between quarters, not just pushing and shoving, but Marquise Lightfoot, number 12, says, forget about the shoving. I'm throwing. He took one, and then he tried to deliver a couple to Simeon Barrow.
Where the hell are the coaches? What the hell are the coaches? Oh, what are they going to waddle over there now? I mean, come on.
Getting all
Look at
upset.
this. Where are they?
Oh man! Again, it's a culture problem. You can't have them fighting over there on the sidelines like that. Okay. Now this was. Hold on. Are you sure this was not today's? Yeah, this was today's game. I just told you that was today's game. This is Iowa State. They're the black and white team. I just told
Yeah,
you.
said that, Alex said they have different uniforms.
So,
Yeah, so that was
Iowa
today's
State
game. That was in a
always-
bowl game like this. We
Iowa
had it
State,
all the time.
who's always been red and yellow, is now black and whatever for today's game.
Yes, Grump. Here it is again. I'll show you
get it.
this.
All right, my mistake then.
Yeah, again, yeah. Anyway, so long story short, I just think that speaks potential selfish issues. I think that the quarterback can't be the selfish guy on the team. Wide receivers could be selfish. Running back could be selfish. Quarterback's the one guy who can't be selfish. I'm sorry. I just think that it's not a good qualifier. I do think Shedeur Sanders sucks, but I think this kid, just think I rather you would have sat out or played the whole game. You played just enough to break the record and then said, I'm not going to play any more reps. That doesn't do it for me.
Alex says Jamie Vardy, Netflix documentary. Nick, you should read this. Mr. X.
Jamie Vardy, Netflix documentary releasing in 2025.
Thank you.
Let's see if we can grow up a year.
Alex says weekly check-in to see if Man City and Pep are missing Rodri. They're not. Dropping points yet again and only won one game out of the last 13. Nothing City has went through with Pep's before. Is it clicking for y'all yet? Stop.
Their issue is they cannot score goals.
Yeah.
Even look at last year when they were winning and they won league. They were scoring 2 to 3 plus goals a freaking game that they won. Every time they scored one goal, it was either a draw or a loss for them. They need to score goals. They're not scoring goals. That's why the team's struggling.
That's right.
You're telling me games that are losing 4-0, Rodri's going to make them win those? They're not.
They
He's
go
not
up.
scoring 4 goals.
Man City has historically been a team that goes up 3 or 4 goals on somebody, and then they just coast. That's what they've been.
Yeah, and you're telling me a guy who scored 9 goals last year is going to be scoring them, what, 12, 13 to win those games. It's not happening.
Not happening. Alex says Trent Alexander-Arnold on his way to Real, seemingly have fun with him getting waxed defensively.
Yeah, it's going to be Alphonso Davies. I don't think they're bringing him in.
No, they're bringing in
looking at
Trent.
both.
Trent plays the right side. They are rumored to be bringing in Trent. They said it's very likely that he's coming in. They also, I've seen rumors that it's likely they're going to get Florian Wirtz, and they're looking at getting Virgil van Dijk and Alonso as well.
I heard that they're
sorry,
out on
Alfonso.
Virgil. They're out on Virgil, and they don't want to pay that money for Wirtz.
Alrighty.
And that Davies is closer to a contract renewal with Bayern.
Alrighty. CBS legendary
What's
announcer
that?
Greg Gumball passes away.
Greg Gumball, not Greg Gumball. You can call him Gumball when he's alive, but he's dead now. Let's call him Greg Gumball.
Greg Gumball.
And he's only 78 years old. So
Look at that. I love it for Ruby. Just after he gets done there, he's gone ahead and not even have his phone on vibrate. Mahomes, as the GOAT, says after ass blasting the Steelers on Christmas Day, the Chiefs become the 8th team in NFL history to tally 15 wins in a single season. Yeah, again, I think they're the worst 15-1 team I've ever seen. They're bad. For the record, they're the worst 15-1 team I've ever seen.
they know how to win the close games, though.
Yeah,
And that's
if you look
important.
at their points scored and points against, they are literally the worst 15-1 team in NFL history.
I agree, but they know how to win. It's important to know how to win.
And it really helps when you get calls too. Think about it; they wouldn't be 15-1 if there were 2 calls made. They'd have 3 or 4 losses this year based off of officiating. Let's be honest.
Again,
But
that's why I just think they're a surprise team to lose early in the playoffs.
All right, who's going to beat them? They're not going to play the Bills.
They're
till
not
the
beating the
end.
officials. No one's beating the officials.
I don't know if
Okay?
you
It's
saw
not
every
happening.
single team that they play week after week always seems to lose by 1 possession or 1 missed call. So if they don't get always those calls, I think any team.
But they do get those calls.
They do every week.
Do you think they're going to continue to pad the stats and the calls for them all playoffs?
Yes.
I think
Yes.
it's
They will
something-
ram them down your throat like they've done the last 2 years.
I think
Yes.
that the calls have been so bad this year, it's problematic for the league.
They don't give a shit. The league doesn't care. They want them winning.
Travis Kelce overtakes Tony Gonzalez as the all-time Chiefs receiving touchdown record and celebrates the Tony Gonzalez signature on the goalpost. Legend. Tony Gonzalez was a million times better than
Way
Travis
better.
Kelce.
Way better. It's a different game. You can't get
Could
hit.
you imagine-
That guy would be out of the league right now.
Could
if
you
he
imagine
played back
Tony
then.
Gonzalez playing with Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback?
Okay, it's a different game. Now, Gonzalez wasn't the greatest blocker in the world either, but he was Kelsey is just
tougher.
what Kelsey is an H-back. That's what he does not block. He's an H-back. I don't have a problem with it. And the game has dramatically changed in the last 5-6 years. When you have a 45-year-old able to throw for 5,300 yards passing, guess what? The league has really changed.
Freedom Fund Adventure says here the Islanders winning. Will it hold? It did. They won 6-3 with an empty netter as well. What do you guys think about the college football playoffs? Let's talk a little bit about the first round of the college football playoffs.
What a waste.
Every single team was that Grump?
What a waste.
Agreed.
Yeah. Every single team that was the home team won.
And blowouts. Everything was a blowout.
Yep. Yikes. Hard to watch. I tried to enjoy the games. They were not enjoyable at all.
That's why I said it doesn't matter who's number 12 or 13. They're getting rolled in the first round anyway.
You're going to tell me that you think in Alabama or South Carolina?
Yeah,
would've got
Alabama
rolled
got the
by
shit kicked
13?
out of them by Oklahoma. So they would have got rolled in the first game too. I don't care who they played.
Okay, but we're thinking of South Carolina, who was progressively better at the end of the year and dominating.
matter.
Would have gotten
Win
rolled.
games. You got to win. You got to win your
Here's
game.
the problem. Your Indiana never belonged in. Your SMU got dominated. Again, the SMU quarterback.
You
had
thought they were
like
great and they were going to beat Penn State last
What
time we talked.
What was the thing I told you that SMU couldn't
I
do?
told you they sucked and were going to get rolled by my
Hold on.
boys from Penn
What
State.
was the thing I told you they couldn't do if they wanted to win? They
Let the
couldn't-
quarterback throw the ball. Let the
I had
quarterback throw the
4 or
ball.
5 turnovers in the first half. The guy just was like, "Whoa," and he's like, anytime I got, and
But
again,
that's
that
what
was
they
my
do all
mistake.
year. You
That
thought
was
they
my
were great. They sucked.
They were good when they don't turn the ball over.
Bye-bye,
5
pumpkins. Bye-bye, pumpkins. Bye-bye.
SMU
Go
lost.
back to the field. Great pumpkin.
State.
See you later.
Ohio State pummeled Tennessee, and again, all of these
Home
SEC.
team.
Yep,
What are you
home
seeing?
team,
You're,
and then
what are you
Texas
seeing
beat
now?
Clemson.
What are you seeing? You're
Home
seeing,
team's fine.
well, Clemson wasn't good enough either, right?
No.
So what are you seeing?
Okay, first off, the ACC is terrible. Was terrible this year.
Okay.
They
but
suck.
What are you seeing? You're seeing Tennessee going up north to play in the cold
Yes.
weather.
The
You're
SEC will
seeing-
struggle like that.
You're seeing SMU going up north to play Penn State. Indiana Purdue doesn't matter, right? They both play in the same elements.
Yep.
But that's the biggest issue that you're seeing those home games on team. And I like it, to be honest with you. I think that football is a game that should be played in the elements. I don't like everything in domes. I just don't.
But I think you're exactly right, though. The SEC schools, when things get hot, they're not the teams that are cramping and dying on the sidelines in the summertime. But when the winter comes rolling around, your Penn States, your Ohio States, those teams that are used to that cold weather, if they're playing at home and it's cold and snowy, they're going to beat the little SEC school that's still sunny and 75 in December.
I guess I'm surprised none of the games were even close. They were all over. Like in the first quarter, those games were over.
Like we knew. I told you Indiana was going to get smashed. They didn't belong. I was wrong on
They
SMU.
told us SMU was going to win too.
Did you just
I
listen?
was right on every single game.
Did you just listen? I just said I was wrong on SMU. Ohio State killed Tennessee as we thought. Tennessee doesn't have a quarterback. Simple as that. And Texas won. Not a surprise.
Are we going to go?
Let's
Are we
move
going to go? Who we're going to pick the next round?
That's right. Let's go ahead and talk. Who do you guys think? Texas or Arizona State? I've got Texas beating Arizona State next round.
I'm going Arizona State.
It depends. If Texas can run the ball, I have Texas winning. That said, I like the Scatabo kid from Arizona State. I think if Arizona State shut down Texas' run game, it's going to be Arizona State.
It's Texas is winning.
If Texas can run the ball, it's going to be Texas.
There's only been one team that shut down Texas.
It's been Georgia. Georgia
And they
shut
did it
down
twice.
Texas' run game.
And they did.
Yeah.
Georgia's D line is the best in the nation.
Okay. Where's the game being played at what time?
I'll tell you in a second. It's being
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta,
where it's
Georgia,
being
1
played.
p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, so that's a negative for Arizona State. Teams that
Yes,
travel,
Agreed.
but now
Different time
Texas,
zones. for
yeah,
both of them.
Texas is a little bit. I think Texas is a better team. Arizona State's hot as hell. I think that game will be close. I'll put it to you that way.
I think it'll be a good game.
Texas is going to kill Arizona State. Arizona State, you talk about pumpkins, is a pumpkin. Simple as that. Arizona State's going to get killed. They played nobody in the Pac-12.
Texas is a
Ohio State-
loser. Texas is a loser. They
Okay.
lose the game. They lose games because they don't know how to win.
Texas
That's what I'm talking about. If Andy Reid and Kansas City Chiefs were coaching that team, Texas would win the whole thing. They lose games that they should win
They'd
Okay,
be
gotcha.
getting every call.
twice.
Okay, gotcha. So you'll just be wrong on that one. That's fine. You have Arizona State. Where do you have X?
I have Arizona State. I think Arizona State's going to win.
That's good. Got Texas. So we'll agree to disagree on that. We've got Ohio State and Oregon. Who are you picking there, Grumpy?
Oregon.
I have
No,
Oregon as well.
That's a
And
no
Dylan
way.
Gabriel, we trust.
No way they go out to California and win the game. No way. Ohio State. No chance.
Remember, Ohio State lost.
No
by,
chance. Zero chance. No chance.
remember, Ohio State lost by 1 point at Oregon earlier on this year. So
The teams in the Big Ten used to go out and play in the Rose Bowl every year and would lose every single year to those Pac-10 teams because they were not used to that temperature. It's the reverse effect now. They're going to get worn down. Here's the thing. I'm rooting for Ohio State. I think Oregon's going to win because Ohio State historically loses those games.
Ohio State's beating Oregon. See you later, Oregon. Their first loss of the year is coming against Ohio State in the rematch.
Okay.
We've got we've got Penn State and Boise State. Who are you guys picking?
James Franklin, baby. Go, Jamie. Yeah.
I want to agree to disagree on this one, too. I've got Boise State winning this.
Boise State. Good luck.
I'm
Where's
going
that
to
game being
say,
played?
I'm going to say
Did you
Penn
watch-
State's going to win.
Did you-
Honestly, to beat Boise, shut down their run game and you win.
That's
It's
it.
literally it. Shut down their run game because their quarterback absolutely sucks. He's not great.
So, again, I don't know if you watched that game, Penn State against SMU. Penn State tried to give that game away. And this is why I wanted to bring this up. Penn State was going for it on 4th and 1 at their own 20-something yard line and didn't get the first down. SMU then proceeded their quarterback to throw an interception the very next play. But again, the thing is, Penn State and James Franklin tried to find ways to lose at home. But
What was the score of that game? What was the
the
score of
SMU
that game?
quarterback- The SMU, I don't know. A
What
lot
was the score of the game? I just want to know what the score of the game was because you want to pick out one little thing. What was it, like 37 to 7? 37 to 10?
I don't know, Grump. It
What
was a
was the
lot too
score?
little. 38 to 10. 38 to 10.
38 to 10. Okay. Tell me again how they gave the game. Stop. Penn State kicked the living shit out of SMU.
You can't
Kicked the living shit out
you
of them.
can't do dumb things like
Destroyed
that
them.
and expect to win games.
They're going to beat Boise State.
If they shut down Boise's run game, Boise is done.
Do
Period.
you know how many yards Genty had against Oregon when they played them earlier on this year?
Do you know how that Oregon's run defense is not very good? Penn State's run defense is a hell of a lot better than Oregon's.
Do you know
They
how many
play in
rushing
the Big
yards he
Ten.
had?
They stopped the run. They stopped the run
Okay.
because the Big
Do you know how
Ten
many
games. Big Ten or
Oregon's in the
man
Big
games.
Oregon's in the
It's
Big Ten,
about
buddy.
stopping the run.
Do you
When
not understand?
play-
Hey, Oregon's in the Big Ten. You remember that, right? Or
Oregon scores a shit ton. That's
okay,
the
but
thing
who
about
did Oregon play? They beat Ohio State at home.
they beat
And
They
who
beat
else did
Boise
they
State.
They beat Boise State.
Boise State. Okay, well, they're losing. And they beat Penn State last game in the championship game. And that
Yep.
game was close.
Yep.
That game was
The thing
close.
is, Oregon can score. They're really good offensively. They're one of the best offenses in the country. They are.
Boise
They put up
State's winning that
points.
game. Just as a reminder to give you the answer because you didn't want to actually, you didn't want to play along with it. Against Oregon, he had 25 rushes, 192 yards, and 3 touchdowns, Genty. I'm telling you,
I know.
Genty's going to go off and he's going to light that
Okay.
Penn State defense apart.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see what
Game-
happens at Penn State.
You
I
don't
got
like
Penn
James
State.
Franklin, so you're picking against him every week. You thought they were going to lose to SMU. They're probably going to win a championship, and you'll have an excuse why they
I
won't.
got Penn State winning. All right, and then the next game I have Notre Dame beating Georgia.
Okay,
Where
how about
is
you?
that?
It's
Where-
in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Ugh.
Home game for Georgia.
I don't think. See, I know they're without the Beck kid. He's not playing.
Yeah, they're running a backup quarterback who just got his lights knocked out their last game in the SEC championship.
Well, I got his Georgia. Georgia's a team that knows how to win, and I don't have much faith in Notre Dame, to be honest with you.
Okay, so what do you
I
got?
think Notre Dame.
Who do you
Can win.
have, Guppy?
I'm still picking Georgia.
I'm
Okay,
not picking a
Notre Dame.
backup quarterback. I'm picking Notre Dame.
I've got upsets across the board pretty much, except Boise State beating Penn State.
The only game that's a lock for an upset is the one you pick. Go the other way. That's fine.
You should honestly put some money down. You'd win some good coin if you were right.
A big parlay, huh?
Yeah.
No, I've got Notre Dame beating Georgia. I think Georgia, the biggest issue is the quarterback. Now you get the backup in. I mean, like again, if Notre Dame doesn't do anything dumb, now I think the Riley Leonard kid sucks at quarterback for Notre Dame. My God, is he bad?
Then you're not winning.
Okay,
They're not going to
Georgia's-
win then.
Georgia's quarterback sucks too.
I feel even more confident that Georgia's going to win now.
Okay, fair enough. So we've got our selections placed in. Then Grumpy, that's fine. I wanted to make sure we had a chance to go ahead and go on the record for that. X, let's get through some more comments here.
Do you really think
topics.
Penn State beating BYU would be an upset?
Boise State, not BYU?
What's the difference? They're both the same freaking school.
Yeah, they're not. Boise State's a good team. I don't know. The only game they have lost to is the number 1 team overall in the nation, Oregon, which was an away game that they lost to by 3 points. I think Boise State's a little bit better than you give them credit for. But next comment here, Grumpy.
Cizikas wins a race versus Crosby and scores on the breakaway.
Yep, let's see that. Yep,
ACC bowl record 1-9.
ACC sucks. Like I said before, they suck. They
They do.
absolutely suck.
What do you
Bowl
think the
records.
chances of Belichick going in there next year and winning the ACC?
Winning very high.
Wrong. Okay, here's the thing. The ACC, and this happens with bowl games. That's why you got to always be careful. SEC, I think it was 3 years ago, had a 1-8 record in bowl games. Doesn't mean the SEC is bad. I don't think the ACC is that competitive a conference. I think they're clear number 3 when it comes
Here's the
down.
thing: Belichick can spend as much money as he wants to get players now. He has free
Okay.
reign.
I disagree. He's not going to have that much money. But Freedom Fund Adventure says, "What's your New Year's resolution?" Go ahead, Grump.
Go ahead. You two. My New Year's resolution is hoping that my sons get me a Christmas present.
That's a resolution for you, huh?
I brought you a Christmas present today, Grump. Pain
No, you
relief. Pain relief.
Look at that. Illegal actions. Anyway, X, you have a New Year's resolution.
To hate the Chiefs more this year
Oh,
or next year,
I don't think it's even possible for you, is it?
and hate the NFL officiating staff.
Oh, gosh. New Year's resolution.
Shador Sanders has not a speck of athletic ability. Not
Yeah.
a speck.
Yeah, he
Holmes, I
sucks.
know you've been watching the game the whole time.
Hold on. Let me do my Shador Sanders impersonation.
There it
Okay,
is.
y'all see it? That's my Richard Millie.
Okay. Mahomes is the GOAT. This is Derek Monroe.
We still crying about the Chiefs getting all the calls, yet they lose the penalty battle in every game they play.
It's when the calls occur. It's
Yeah,
when the
it's-
calls
it's-
occur.
yeah,
It's when the
it's-
calls occur. Because guess what? If the Chiefs are up by 80 points against the team, oh well, let's throw a shit ton of flags against the Chiefs.
all of a
because the
sudden
game's
it's a
over.
false start
Right.
on that tackle every single
Wow.
play.
Yeah, wow, because the game's a freaking blowout. Yeah, let's go ahead and call penalties now. Oh, the
Yeah.
game's close. Oh, well,
It's-
let's
it's
immediately start
time.
throwing penalties on the other
A
team.
lot of it's timing. Like I said, I'm not one who thinks the referees determine the outcomes of games.
I do.
Like X, But you just look at it objectively. He's like, oh man, another one? Really? That again?
It's the timing, it's the convenience of everything that bails them out of a situation like on 4th and long. Oh, here's a pass interference, a phantom pass interference that gives them a first down. Now, to mention, I know you probably already know this because you've been watching the whole time, Grumpy. BYU has thrown 3 picks today, and Colorado only has 7 points on the board. They're getting beat 36-7. Shedeur Sanders, 143 passing yards and a touchdown with 2 picks.
Does Captain Heisman have any of those interceptions?
I don't know. Travis Hunter does have 4 receptions for 106 yards and a touchdown. Again, that's the plan. Throw it to Travis Hunter and
what's his number? Is he number 1?
I don't know, Grumpy. You've been watching the game.
I'm not watching the game. I want to know what his number is.
Oh,
he actually wears a mask out there on the
Number
field.
12.
Has a striped uniform because he's
number
Rob.
12. Okay, number 12 is Travis Hunter. Freedom from the bench, Grumpy.
Look at little brother copying big brother with the same background.
I know.
It's most likely the Grinch of all Christmas characters. Come over to the house with his dog and takes all the food and the gifts.
He is just like the Grinch.
And you know what? He leaves food much too small for
there it is.
For the warden's mouses.
Good.
Which son would you classify more as a jock? Which one is a dork? TJ's a fucking hammerhead, and X is good people though.
Yeah, there we go.
Loser. TJ, did you ever make sense of Robin Leonard's odd tweets? Does Lou L sniff UBS Arena seats? I hope one day soon he sniffs those UBS Arena seats. Now with odd tweets, no, I didn't want up reading it over. Sorry. He was looking to go on podcast to talk about his situation. I never messaged him. I should probably. I'll need to do that.
Yeah.
But you better get Robin Leonard on there. Okay, Grumpy. Mahomes is with Derek Monroe.
Why doesn't the NHL play on Christmas Day? Because they wouldn't have any viewers compared to NFL and the NBA. No, because they still have a little bit of respect for the holiday, maybe. The NFL don't give a shit anymore. I told X earlier this week, the NFL eventually is going to put all their games are going to be streaming.
Okay.
And they're going to try to play every single day of the week.
Gotcha. Next comment here, Grumpy.
Why would Ward set up the second half when he's still fully dressed? I tend to believe it was a coaching decision so they could prepare the other quarterback with some reps for next season. Not me.
Yeah, that's what they did. They said, we're going to lose the game. And on the last drive, when we're down by 2 points and we've got a timeout, 40 seconds left, we're going to put this new guy in and keep him in there. No, he sat out the game. Todd McShay talked about it. Robert Griffin III, of course, was defending him for sitting out the second half. And he always does that. Anytime he can defend and take the most ridiculous, stupid take possible, Robert Griffin III does it. That's why he doesn't have a job. No, that's why he doesn't have a job anymore, because his takes are just straight garbage across the board. So, again, for him, he sat out the entire second half, didn't want to play, got himself the record, and then said, I'm too selfish. I don't care about the team. Goon Grump.
How is it possible that TJ and Sunix have the same exact decor behind them? Is Phil Spax a gem?
He's not a gem. I promise you that.
Shit.
Drew Grumpy.
All I know is the case of Cam Ward going number 1 looks way more plausible after today. Absolutely. I don't understand the love for Shedeur Sanders at all. He cannot play. He is not, and he throws his teammates under the bus. That does not, TJ, tell me if I'm wrong. Does that not, how does that work with the teammates?
I'll tell you this. All of them across the board. I mean, it doesn't work well. The quarterback has to be the one selfless person, the really selfless person on the team. Linemen usually have to as well. But, you can't be a me guy as a QB, and you also can't quit on the team at halftime as a quarterback. Sorry.
Can you go cry to your mother? How does that work out when you go to the pros, when you go cry to your mother after a game?
Well, the team loses 9 straight games to end the season, happened today for Caleb Williams.
There you go. Oh, look at this. He's got a brick wall behind him, that X. He's he's defense all the way.
Did you just not realize that?
I'm not really looking at that.
He just took his head off the TV set. Okay. Drew says here, Don Clevman is also the king of information, TJ. He was the main one pushing the Giants drafting J.J. McCarthy last draft.
Is J.J. McCarthy that good?
No, he sucks. He was injured, but I'm going to say probably not.
I do have a question for you, TJ. X and I had a disagreement on something yesterday, and I want to get your take on it because it's more valid than either one of ours. Alex says, notice that all the big players like Ward, Shedeur, and Hunter all played in their bowl games. Okay, but what did Shedeur Sanders and Hunter do? They went and took out big insurance policies about getting injured. It's the only reason they played. And the way they played today, they should have not played. They should have. Now, I'm going to rest on my laurels because we know that you got exposed against BYU. Just tells you all you need to know. Love that players are finishing the season with their teams like they should. No, they're not. They're all about the money. That's what they're all about.
Yes.
TJ, here's a question I had. X and I had a disagreement. He said that all the people were leaving Oklahoma and they're not going to get anybody. They're not going to be able to field the team next year. I say that kids transfer out of a school to go into a situation where they get to play more. Where X says, no, it's because they want to get paid money in college because it's worth more than the pros. I disagree.
Then a rookie contract in the pros, it absolutely is.
No, I
Okay,
disagree.
stop. There's two guys that there's a few different reasons you transfer. If you're a guy who's excelling at a smaller school, you'll transfer to a bigger school because they're promising you the playing time, and then they'll give you a pay increase. That happens. But if you are a guy who, hey, I'm on Oklahoma and I'm the backup, and I've been the backup for a year or 2 years, well, I'm going to go to a different school, maybe take a little less NIL money on the front end, but then I'll get to play. So then I can earn more NIL money in years next.
Here's the thing, though, TJ. These were all starting wide receivers for Oklahoma who were, quote unquote, out injured the whole entire season, who were playing for Oklahoma. They were starters. They had a starting spot.
But their offense was abysmal. So they want to go somewhere where they
They're
can.
looking for money.
My take is they want to get to play because this gets their draft stock increases.
Well, my thing is they would be playing. They're already starters in the SEC. You get the most viewership.
But if you don't put any points on the board, what does it matter?
Okay, they didn't have a quarterback, a shitty QB. If you don't have a good QB, why the hell is a wide receiver would I be staying with a bad QB? I want to get to a QB that can throw me the ball so I can showcase my talent.
Well, no, apparently he's good.
That's
He's going
it,
to
right?
Auburn. He's going to
That's it.
Auburn. What do you mean he's good? He's going to
He
Auburn.
sucks. He sucks. Another guy
That's
sucks.
my point. They want to improve their draft stock at the end of the day. Drew says Cam Ward is easily the QB1 of this class. Not even close. Shador is a backup. He sucks. Honestly,
This draft class for quarterbacks blows.
Will Pete Alonso signed a dotted line? Son X, have you ever been fined?
now Pete Alonso has no market. The Mets offered him 3 years, $90 million, and he turned that down.
Yikes. Good luck.
I mean, first basemen are a dime. It's almost like they're a dime a dozen now.
Yep.
I mean, you look at Goldschmidt 1 year. No, it's a little bit older, but Goldschmidt 1 year, $12 million. Josh Naylor got traded for peanuts.
Yep, nothing.
You got Nathaniel Lowe got traded for nothing. I mean, I just think that it's just something that first basemen are not valued anymore.
Okay. Freedom Fund Adventure Grumpy.
TJ won't get this because he doesn't understand offensive line play, and X probably never saw him play, but Richmond Webb getting snubbed for the NFL Hall is disgusting. Dude was an absolute premier left tackle.
I
Yeah.
could tell you one thing. I've never heard of him.
Yeah, I'd
Oh,
never
he
seen him
was
play.
he was a good player. He played for the Dolphins. He was a good player, but you got to be better than good. And there's no way I mean, he might get in eventually. I mean, Claude Humphrey got in as defensive end. I never thought he was getting in. If you stay around long enough, you can start kicking around there. Maybe you get in. I don't think he was the greatest left tackle.
What's his name? Richmond Webb?
Richmond Webb. He was a very good left tackle. Doesn't make you Hall of Famer though.
Yeah.
Same with Bob Kuchenberg because I only saw his film. I watched him play. He was a beast, not like those feminine and modern day offensive linemen. They both don't put everybody. Larry Little made it off of that Miami team. Jen Langer made it. They don't put the whole team in. They don't. Alex says City gave up 21 goals in the last 13 matches. Please preach some more how Holland is not doing his job some more.
They're not
The team's
providing
not
service.
scoring.
Simple.
They've never been a good defensive team. Never.
Pep is a guy where his teams are always loaded. He wins a lot of regular season matches in league play because that's the type of manager he is. Anytime there's any adversity, it's the same reason why they could never win the big game. Is because anytime there's any adversity, he can never do anything. He starts scratching his face to where the point where it's bleeding because his brain can't operate quick enough on the actual fly. I've got no use for Pep. He's a shitty big game coach. And guess what? When he has a few injuries, he didn't do a good enough job replacing them. The team looks like shit. He's the problem. It's not the players. He's been bad this year. He did a bad job of making sure that the covers were stacked. Simple. Move on.
Here's all you need to know. The coach of the Spanish international team and the captain of the Spanish international team didn't even think that Rodri was the best player on their team last year.
There you go.
That should tell you all you need to know.
Gungun says
Either did his own team man.
Goon, grumpy.
Gungun says TJ, when will more sound effects be added to the board? That's never happening. When was the last time Matt Martin scored?
Don't know. Long time.
Freedom Fund Adventure says Dubose, the Dolphins wide receiver who was hit while on the ground in a helmet by that disgusting Houston player, still in very bad condition. Houston player hit the ground like ref saying out, just a fine.
What? I don't even understand what this means.
I'll
look to see if there's something about Dolphins player getting hit.
Alex says cold weather affects both teams. It snows in Knoxville, Missouri. Knoxville's in Tennessee, Missouri, Kentucky, and even Arkansas earlier this year. Home field advantage matters. Ohio State finally showed up. SMU sucks is the talking point, not the weather. It makes a difference. I guarantee you SMU did not play in minus 10-degree temperatures all year. They never practiced in it. Those guys live it every single day. There's a difference. Alex Monroe says, Boise State winning. TJ's hate for Penn State is so deep. It is.
You'll see. Simple as that. This is the play he's talking about there, Grump. Yeah. Oof. Gosh, I'll let you watch it. I'll put it in slow motion so it will actually come through and doesn't skip. Put it on 7.5 speed. That's what I like to call a hospital pass.
Still a little janky on the speed. Still a little janky. Maybe put it on 0.5.
Okay, I tried 0.75 for you. Here's 0.5. I don't know what you want him to do.
I don't think that's really a dirty hit.
This guy starts lowering his head because it's a hospital pass. Tua is leading him right to the hospital.
Boop,
Boom.
boop, boop. You ever notice
The guy from Miami starts to lower his helmet because he didn't want to get hit in the chest like a pussy. He didn't want to get hit in the chest. So he said, I'm going to get hit in the head instead and cause my brain to get rattled around. He's lowering the helmet.
Tua just wanted some friends in the hospital for when he gets his next concussion. That's all it was.
Did you ever notice when Brady was quarterbacking, he'd always throw the ball low for guys to go down. So they never took those shots. He took them out of harm's way.
Look at him. He's got the ball here in his hands, and then he starts lowering his helmet because he doesn't want to get hit in the freaking chest because he knows, well, that's going to hurt. So he hits his head instead. I don't know how the guy from the 21 gets called on this. Like, what do you expect him to do differently? Can he not make a tackle there?
Well, that's the modern day NFL, right?
Would you rather him dive at somebody's knee and dislocate or tear an ACL? I mean, like, just don't lower your helmet, get hit in the chest, break a rib maybe, and move on.
Now, I will say, I don't know who that guy is who took out Trevor Lawrence for the
still on ring. I like it, Grumpy.
I don't know who that guy is.
Hey, I'm getting a call from Phil. Hold on.
Okay. Anyway.
I said, I don't know who that guy was for the Texans who took out Trevor Lawrence, but he is a dirty piece of shit. That guy's taken out like 3 or 4 players before.
It was not that guy. That was like an outside linebacker or something. The Dolphins are downgrading to it a doubtful for Sunday's game at Cleveland.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he's always injured and banged up there. Oregon's rush defense isn't great, TJ. Penn State defense is way better than Oregon's. Again, Penn State is better, but you'll see. Genty will run wild all over him. Simple. Here you go, Grumpy. Here you go, Al.
The game plan for Georgia doesn't change. Etienne will get some good runs in. If Georgia can handle Texas D-line and O-line, why couldn't they boss around Notre Dame? I agree. I think Georgia's better than Notre Dame. We'll see. Sador Sanders sounds like more like Shitter Sanders. I just want to say we haven't heard from Phil. TJ and I have not heard from Phil since, I think, did he even call on the Toronto game or was he a little scared after that?
No, he called on the Toronto game. He would not talk to us after the Buffalo game, though.
And so I knew we'd get a call today because the Islanders finally won a game 7 or 8 days later.
That's why I don't bother picking up. Don't bother, Grump. Next comment there. Stephen Porter said, played with TJ on college football 25 yesterday, and I'm convinced he knows nothing about football now. Stick to your day job. By the way, it ain't football.
No!
Move along. Mahomes, Grumpy. This is Al.
No, this is Derek.
Derek.
Nebraska wins their bowl game today to clinch their first winning season since 2013. Dylan Raiola will pull offensive players in from the portal.
Good luck.
And he was at Northwestern University. Nebraska University might be turning things around, fellas, finally. Maybe. We'll see.
TJ's full-time job is bombing with a fantasy football team.
Oh,
I'll let you watch this. Remove this here, X. This was, I want to get your take on it. This is an offensive lineman, 55. I just want you to watch what happens. I'll put it in slow motion so you can see.
Seen this.
I'm sure Grumpy has not.
I've not.
It
looks like somebody's stepping on somebody here. Did he step on his? Oh, it's his ankle. He stepped on.
He's stomping on guys' ankles here for the other team.
That was if you. Whoopsie daisy! I wish.
Like, let me go ahead and whoop. He almost hyperextends his knees, pressing down so hard. Look at his knee and buckle like that.
I'm going to be honest with you. Next time I see that lineman, if I see him walking down the field, I'm chop blocking him from the side so hard. So hard. He's not even wearing knee braces. Absolute easy ACL cleanage. Then you need a spoon to scoop that thing out.
Grumpy, what's your opinion?
He shouldn't have stepped on him. It's just wrong.
You should have done that.
Okay, people are like, "Oh man, he should never be allowed to play again. They should remove him."
No, you just tear his knee up. No, you just blow his knee out the next time he's out there on the field. Have him crawling off.
It's fucking football. It's
No
not
problem.
meant to be fucking power.
But you know what? It's football, baby. When you're down there on all fours, crying, holding your kneecap because that thing is blown out. MCL, ACL, knee, worse than Tank Dale's. Don't want to hear it.
Is there any truth to the NFL officials calling a penalty against Chiefs opponents if they had like some spicy food and blow it in Patrick Mahomes' face? That's unsportsmanlike conduct for blowing spicy food juice in the guy's face.
Yeah, probably, Grump. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll tell you this though: I don't have an issue with them stomping on feet. Probably shouldn't do it, but guess what? That's football. I'm happy. Bring a little bit of a mean streak to your attitude. I have no problem with it. Bring some of that back to the game. I want to see some hatred in football. Nothing gets you to hate a player more than doing something like that. You go, Grumpy. Next comment.
Miami's tight end's college football career comes to an end today after 9 seasons in college.
Yeah, hard to believe. Man should have a doctorate at this point.
Literally.
You're Grumpy.
Look, X, if there's anything to be grateful for, you can thank the GM for drafting Xavier Worthy over Lad McConkey.
That's true.
Yikes.
Alex goes. Things people want in sports again. Physical tickets, absolutely. Old NBA, true. Old Sports Center, true. With less debate shows, I don't need any of those. Less oversaturation, I don't give a shit about that. And scheduling separation between leagues.
Yeah, and Al said this to me. I want physical tickets again. Just nice to have that as a little collector's item. I don't know why they don't do it. It's like you got a special order if you want to fucking take it.
Because it's cheaper. That's why. Derek Monroe says, I'm with you, X, on Notre Dame. SEC fans will never see a loss coming for Georgia.
Georgia's losing that one. Now, Kirk Herbstreit, after Ohio State, beat the living shit out of Tennessee, talked about Shannon Sharp and the guys on First Take and their opinion on it. And Shannon Sharp got a little frustrated, a little fussy.
Even though I'm going to let it slide. I'm going to be a good teammate. I'm going to let it slide. Everybody's at ESPN because had you not taken the route you taken, I would have lit their ass up. But I'm going to let it slide. You know what, guys? Congratulations, Ohio State. You won the game. But, hey, if we're going to be on the same team, if we're going to work for the same network, don't do that. Kurt, Chris Fowler, I promise you, if you ever mention anything, any platform that I'm on again and talking about, I wonder what they're going to say in negativity, I promise you, ESPN ain't got enough bosses to keep me off y'all for what I'm going to say. So I'm going to let y'all slide today. I'm going to turn it over to Do before I get myself in trouble. But don't play with me.
So he got a little upset.
Okay.
He got upset that he made a statement talking about how Ohio State was going to lose and Ohio State beat the living shit out of Tennessee. He's like, I wonder what they're going to say next. And he got all fucking upset about it.
Okay.
You got a wrong take. Take it on the chin, you freaking bitch.
For a guy who said he wasn't going to talk about it, he sure did talk about it the whole way. That's why he's a piece of this. First of all, this guy's a piece of shit dust. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you from personal experience, he's a jerk. So that's all you need to know about him.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely, Grump.
And I don't hate him. I mean, he was against Brady. He was how wrong was he on all those takes when he was on with Skip Bayless? He finally had to swallow every single word he ever said about him.
I just love how this looks like. I wonder what else they're going to say after this. And he takes such offense to that. If you ever say that on any other platform I'm on, they're not going to have enough bosses to keep me in control. I'm like, oh, so you can't control yourself? Is that what you're telling me? You don't know how to articulate?
Didn't he get into a fight in the stands with somebody?
He's always getting in a fight. He's just a hothead. Now, I want to show you this. Now, again, don't really look too much at the shots for and against. I just want to show you this play here by Celebrini and Will Smith, both 18 and 19-year-old kids out there. I'll tell you one thing. San Jose has a lot of reason to be excited about the future. Watch this play, and I want to get your take on it. If it comes through Skippy, let me know.
Give it away to Celebrini. Again, another takeaway by Celebrini. Look at the effort. Here's Celebrini. Saved by Hill at the side. They score.
That's what skill does. Do we do anything like that ever? Nope. Nope.
Zoop, zoop.
The pros.
Look at this.
Look at this pass.
It's real.
And the follow-up. Just look at it. Back and forth, beautiful. The guy who started it winds up finishing it. Beautiful.
Unreal. Oh, unreal.
And they're, like I said, they're still boys yet. They're boys.
18 and 19 years old, but man, what I wouldn't do to have those guys on our team.
Yeah.
I think that's all I had there for you guys here today. Yeah, just typical. I think we've got here.
Well, did we even talk about the Mets signing Juan Soto?
Yeah, we talked about it last week, man.
We didn't do a show last week.
2 weeks ago. He signed a while ago. We did 2 weeks ago. He's been signed for a while, Grump. Yeah,
He's not been signed that long.
Grumpy, it's your favorite, buddy. This is a good way to end off the show here for us. And then we can go ahead and read through the rest of the comments.
I saw this somewhere.
Did you see this particular clip or different
Yes, this particular clip. Go ahead, Roland.
He's eating that thing.
Tyreek Hill for a fourth-round pick, and then trade the fourth-round pick and 3 first-round picks to get Alshon Jeffrey. And then there's a guy in college football. I forgot his name is.
I hope he gets
runs
like
the
insurance
40.
for those glasses. He should absolutely get that. Like if he orders glasses, he should get the insurance with how he bends them and chews on them.
Well, they make ones that flex. You should probably just get those.
But he should always get the insurance because I'm guarantee you he's a guy who probably puts a lot of strain on those glasses.
You're probably right.
Well, I forgot his name is. He runs the 40 in 3 seconds flat.
3 seconds flat. What's he driving a car? A motorcycle?
If he's touched, he fumbles. They call him the human pass dispenser, and he can't catch a pass. They call him Butters McGee, and he's all to the back number 1. Because says, all you need is speed. He's going to have him run the ball. As soon as he runs the ball, he's going to go, oh, no. He actually carries the ball like this.
Do you feel like they're profiting off of somebody who's mentally ill? I mean, this guy, Frank, obviously is nuts.
I do think they're taking advantage of him.
I mean, like he does, he likes doing that. That's who he is. But I'm like, my God, they love to have him have these like ridiculous meltdowns that just make him look, I don't know. I mean, I guess to teach their own, but I think they're profiting off a guy who's got some, not all the screws are there in the right spot.
Drew says, Grumpy, do we know anything like that? Lou, nope.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Well, Grumpy's fridge puts a lot of strain on X's glasses. Oh, X.
Oh,
also, Kyler Murray just choked in typical Kyler fashion.
Hey, it's double XP weekend in COD, so makes sense.
I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to see. Have you guys been watching any of the John Gruden clips since
some of them? I've seen some of them.
He's been great. He's great. I love John Gruden.
I love the one where he's talking about, I don't know who was the kicker, was going out there drunk as shit, going out there for a kick. They knew that he was wasted, and he still sent him out there. He hits the kick. He's like, yeah, man, I love you. And he was pissed off at him like the week before. It was so funny.
I tell you, he would have been a funny guy to be coach under. Now, all of his clips are just, I feel like, are gold. Now I feel like for Barstools, he's great. He produces some of the best content that they have.
When you get fired as a coach, it's not very good. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. And what I realized was I wasn't alone. I had my brother, Jay, Sean McVay. A lot of us had just been fired. So a lot of guys would come over to my house and we would watch film. And pretty soon my wife got sick of it. She says, get them out of my house and get all your stuff out of this house. We got too many game plans, practice schedules, out. I don't know where I'm supposed to do. I don't know where to go. So I rented this old building for about $750 a month. And I called it the Fire Football Coaches Association. And that's where we went. And pretty soon I needed to buy my own building because there's a lot of fired football coaches out there. And it's a place where coaches can go and study film. We can collaborate on different schemes, study personnel, you name it. And nobody even knows we're here. It's a great man cave. And I've turned this into one of the greatest places of all places. This is the FFCA. This is the Fired Football Coaches Association. This is where you go when you get fired, traded, or trampled to death by coaching. So I needed a place to go and keep studying.
I thought that was very interesting.
I think it's great. I think it's great.
I like John. I'm like, he's just a real guy's guy. I tell you, it's just across the board. I tell you, he is just fuck. I just think across the board, he's great. The content he produces is good. And again, his takes usually are spot on. I love the enthusiasm he brings, but man, I don't have too much else to say. Cover today. Anything else? We could talk about Juan Soto. I think again, like if we didn't cover enough there last time,
I mean,
I think Juan Soto, good signing, huge contract, but
I think
not afraid to spend money.
yeah, but I'm kind of underwhelmed with what they've done since. They signed Sean Manaea back, but they haven't done anything. Supposedly they want Alonso back. I mean, I don't know. I think the Mets need a legit starting pitcher. I don't think they have one.
Not to mention Juan Soto flew out at a rec baseball game, by the way.
I did see that. Softball.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know about that.
900 million flat.
But then you wonder what the Yankees are doing, right? I mean, they kind of pivoted. They got Clay Bellinger in a trade, which was basically
Cody Bellinger.
Cody, I'm sorry, I keep on. That was his dad. Also played for the Yankees. I think that was a good sign. I think that was a good trade. It was mostly a salary dump by Chicago. And then you had they picked up Paul Goldschmidt. They still have some work to do. They got Max Fried, the starting pitcher from the Braves. They also got Devin Williams, the closer from Milwaukee, and they're trying to get better defensively. Well, after that Game 5 fiasco in the World Series, how could they not? But it looks like they're going to not be as prolific offensively this year, or they're not trying to be, but they want to be better pitching wise and defensively. And that's another way. That's another way to do it, honestly. So I think the Yankees still have a little bit more work to do. I don't know if they want to spend any more money, but it'll be interesting to see.
Now, Drew did send us a video here of Shedeur Sanders after he put on the Giants cleats, Grumpy.
Oh.
Let me see your 3-step. Let me see your 3.
Always a great video to watch. But I'd be shocked. I mean, do you think Shedeur goes first overall?
To me, I'd never draft him. Never, ever.
I wouldn't either. I'm just asking, who do you think goes first overall?
It should be Cam Ward. It should be Cam. I think Cam Ward's a better quarterback. If you're drafting quarterback, you know who shouldn't be drafted? That Travis Hunter kid. Absolutely not.
You're not a big fan of Travis Hunter?
Absolutely not. Deion saying, he's got to play both ways. You think they're going to play both ways?
Genty.
Not happening.
Genty doesn't deserve to be a high pick like that.
Drew says, honestly, I'm concerned about the Mets pitching staff. Clay Holmes is their number 2 starter. That seems like a disaster waiting to happen. Well, I don't think he's number 2 starter. First is going to be Senga. Then they have Holmes, and they have Montas, and they have Sean Manaea's back. They also got David Peters. They got a lot of starting pitching. I think they need a stud. Corbin Burns signed with Arizona today. So it's interesting, but it seems like a lot of guys got money, and then a lot of guys have been left out in the cold. Alex Bregman thinks he's worth more than he is, in my opinion. He's still out there. I think he's perfect for the Red Sox. Nolan Arenado turned down a trade, if you can believe this, to Houston. And now Houston pivoted, went in another direction, decided, well, you know what? We're going to go get a first baseman. And they traded for Paredes when they moved Kyle Tucker. So Arenado's not an option for Houston now. He's running out of chances. St. Louis does not want him back, and he doesn't want to be back. Why the hell did he turn that trade down? I don't get it.
Good luck. Good luck. That's all I've got to say is good luck. But are there any more comments here we've got there? But that's what happens. It's the tales all the time. You think you're more valuable than you are. You're really not. Then people move on from you, and you end up in a bad spot, and you end up being like Carlos Correa. Anyway, let's wrap things up here. Grumpy X, what do you want to say before we end the show here today?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens, and even those who don't, from TJ, the Grumpy Old Man, and Son X, and Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
And I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas, by the way.
Absolutely. And X, what do you want to say before we wrap things up here today?
Want to appreciate everybody coming out and supporting the podcast, as always, getting interactions in the comment section. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we will see you guys. That's right, you guessed it, X time.
X time. Yeah.
Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. We'll be live with the guys here next Sunday. Back to our regularly scheduled podcasting. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all the comments. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. Thanks so much, X and Grumpy, for your time.
Thank you.
My pleasure.